Okay, we are recording. Welcome everybody to the Sunday night team webinar call. Thank you for being here. I am Julia Mills and I'm a Pro 5 out of Raleigh, North Carolina. And I'm honored and excited to be here to be able to share this information with you tonight. So thanks again for being on. I am really gonna try my best to keep it to 30 minutes. Dr. Carter and I could probably talk for an entire day on this information. So I'm going to get started right away. I'm going to share my screen. Okay. So like I said, I'm Julia Mills. I am from Raleigh, North Carolina, and I'm a Pro 5, and I'm sitting here next to my enroller. So this is my friend, Dr. Sandy Kimmel. She's a board certified neurologist from Raleigh, North Carolina. And back in 2014, I had been downsized by the pharmaceutical industry, where I spent about 10 years in sales, medical and pharmaceutical sales. And she introduced me to LifeVantage and Protandim and the science behind it. She also had a meeting. So one thing we're going to talk about certainly is three-way calls and meetings and the importance of that. Even though I greatly respected Dr. Kimmel and she shared amazing information on Tecfidera and the NRF2 pathway and the science behind these products, I still myself need the third-party validation. Dr. Gordon came to Raleigh and did that for me. And my husband and I sat and we had a lot of questions. I understood the science. It made perfect sense to me. The ABC primetime video is extremely important for people to see and to understand and then to see the peer-reviewed research behind our products. But to be able to ask questions about the business and why this business, why we are at the forefront of something that is just a huge trend in the industry. So one thing that I wanted to share with everybody is a little bit about what I learned in the industry when I was in it. And I'm a healthcare business consultant, so I help med tech companies and physicians build and grow their businesses. But this is what's happening out there right now. 2/3 of young hospital doctors under serious stress. Doctors are retiring later and getting sicker. The good doctors burning out, the widespread problem of doctor burnout. And at the same time, chronic diseases and conditions are on the rise. So we have a system that's sick. And I saw it years ago. And that's how Dr. Kimmel and Dr. Gordon and many of the healthcare providers that are drawn to LifeVantage, as I was, because we want to do something that's making a difference. We want to do something that is helping people. And we find with our company and our products, we can do that because we are on the forefront of the next revolution, and that's the DNA revolution. That's our genetic code. That's how we can upregulate good genes and downregulate bad genes. This is becoming mainstream. And for those of us who understand how big this market is, we have an opportunity to not only help people at the root cause of their issues, but also live longer. All of you on this webinar, probably all of you on this webinar know that we have the only natural supplement or natural therapy shown to extend lifespan by 7%, the National Institutes on Aging 10-year study. So that is profound, that is significant, that's something we need to be telling people. So this is the next wave in revolution in the healthcare industry. One thing that I want to talk a little bit about today is presenting this information to physicians. So you certainly want to present it in healthcare providers, nurses, I lump them all into the same category, right? Healthcare providers, people who have responsibility to patients, basically, or clients. So they're really just like anyone else because we have to start with the ABC prime time. That information is very important. And then the peer-reviewed research is obviously very important, and then helping people understand that we are activating and not supplementing. It's a big difference, and that's where the whole DNA comes in. I put together a healthcare questionnaire, and certainly I'm happy to send this to anybody, but I like starting with this if I can with healthcare providers because I think it sets us apart from the get-go. And I just go over a few key questions. These are all related to clinical. So I ask them yes or no. You know, are you familiar with NRF1 or NRF2 activation? Are you familiar with Tecfidera, which is a drug that Dr. Kimmel had shared with me, also works on the NRF2 pathway. There's head-to-head studies between Protandim or NRF2 and Tecfidera. Do they use PubMed? And Protandim was more potent. I have to throw that in there. So that's huge. Do they use PubMed for research? Do they use therapies that address inflammation, mitochondria, lifestyle, fitness, nutrition? Are they currently using a therapy that is proven to reduce oxidative stress by 40% in 30 days? We know we have the only one on the market that has a human clinical trial. Of course, the ABC News supports that. And maybe a lot of people are starting to hear about Protandim now. So maybe they are, but maybe they're not. Are they using a therapy proven to increase catalase by 54%, SOD 30%, glutathione by 300%, proven to extend lifespan, like we said, by 7%, proven to reverse the age-related biomarkers? So this is a nice checklist that you can start and just kind of ask some questions. From the business standpoint, I think this is as important. The insurance companies and the pharmaceutical companies are really dictating what physicians can do. Their hands are tied. Many of them are selling their practices to large hospitals or corporations. And they feel like they're not actually doing what they went to medical school to do. And so they're in a position where if they can help people actually heal and maybe get off medications, but at the same time, they can have a better work-life balance, have more time freedom with their families, increase some revenue streams into their households, then that's something that a lot are really interested in looking at. So don't forget, the business part is just as important. So these are some questions that I ask. Are they open to increasing revenue, improving work-life balance, partnering with like-minded colleagues, partnering with a global publicly traded company and leader in biohacking and patented nutrigenomics? Again, I can send that out if anyone's interested. I don't know how many are aware, but there's a LifeVantage doctors group. On my team, we have about 20 physicians and healthcare providers. And so we are pretty well connected with the LifeVantage doctors group. So I'm going to run through points 1, 2, and 3 here. So for many reasons, physicians and veterinarians and a wide variety of healthcare providers are partnering with LifeVantage to bring clinically proven, peer-reviewed, patented, first-to-market medical breakthrough technology to the market. At each elite academy, I'm not sure if everyone's aware of this, but in Global Convention, the LifeVantage doctors groups attend an additional meeting. It's at 6:30 a.m. I put an exclamation point there because they're such dedicated healthcare providers. They really are some of the most amazing people that I've ever had the honor to work with. We meet to discuss science, products, business, and the latest medical advancements in biohacking and nutrigenomics, and really just there to support each other. And as of Charleston, South Carolina, there's now over 1,050 LifeVantage healthcare providers, and the group is growing rapidly. When I was there in Charleston, I thought it would be really neat. One thing that I'm always very impressed about with our company is the high level of people that are joining the company: professional, high integrity, smart, caring, supportive, and from a wide variety of backgrounds. That I think is just so, it makes our company so strong and our distributor network so strong. So I had an idea that I would interview as many people that wanted to at the LifeVantage Doctors Group to just share a little bit about who they are, where they're from, and why they love LifeVantage. So I've created a short little video that you can reuse. Hopefully you can learn from this and then also share this with people. So this is a 15-minute video. I'm going to share it right now, and then I'm going to summarize after, and then I'm going to introduce my dear friend and business partner, Dr. Carter, where he's going to go over some information on essential fatty acids and our Omega Plus product. So this video is going to play, and I hope that everyone can hear it well.
Guys, I'm Dr. Kat. Dr. Catherine Caden. I practice in Rockville, Maryland, just outside of DC, and I am a pediatric and prenatal chiropractor, and just about finished with my functional medicine degree certification program from Institute for Functional Medicine. And I love LifeVantage. I love it for our products and what this has done for me, my family, and my patients. So that's why I love LifeVantage. Hi, I'm Barbara Dickey. I'm from Chambersburg, PA, and I work with mental health substance abuse clients, addictions of all kinds. I love LifeVantage because it offers an alternative to all the issues that we see that when medications don't seem to do what we need to do. But I love the alternatives and turning on our survivor genes, and I'm 71 going on 20.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Reiner from Myersville, Maryland, and I am a certified professional midwife with my own home birth midwifery practice. And I love LifeVantage because I get to help everyone, not just healthy women having normal pregnancies who want a home birth and live near me in Maryland. So it's awesome to be able to help everyone with their health and wellness.
I am Dr. Mary Hanke, and I am from Stacyville, Iowa, and I am a small animal veterinarian, dogs and cats, and mainly work with just people's pets. And I love LifeVantage because of the science to back it up and the things that I've seen with my patients. And there is no placebo effect with dogs and cats. So, and also all of the scientific professionals that I've met and collaborate with this company, and because it is also all transparent because it's traded on the NASDAQ, so I can be assured that everything is completely transparent. Thank you.
Hey there, this is Marco Rodriguez from El Paso, Texas. I'm an occupational therapist. My wife and I own an outpatient pediatric clinic, working primarily with kids with ADD, ADHD, autism. And I love LifeVantage because it gives us the opportunity to work with people and help people outside of our clinic. Having a traditional business really limits us to just a very small geographic area. And with this, I can have an international, global business, and we're able to help lots of folks. So really excited about this, and you should get involved as well.
Diane Rodriguez from El Paso, Texas. I'm an occupational therapist. I work with children with ADHD and autism, and I love LifeVantage because I have met the most amazing people that I would have never met otherwise. And it just gives us an opportunity to meet so many new people that can teach us instead of us always being the teachers. So I'm loving this. Thank you.
My name is Christy Murillo. I'm a pediatric physical therapist. I live in Fullerton, California. I'm board certified in pediatrics, and I have the pleasure of working in a school district with many children and their families and teachers and the whole educational setting. I love LifeVantage because of what it's done for me, and also there are so many people, we don't do enough in prevention, and we need to take a closer look at that and stop things before they happen. And also we can help people with their wealth, which many people live paycheck to paycheck, and we have something that'll help them. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Susie Benjamin. I am from Sioux Falls, South Dakota. I am a certified athletic trainer, and I work with my kids right now. I'm a work-at-home mom, but I have 14 years of experience in athletic training. And I love LifeVantage products because they are banned substance control group certified. And so we can talk to elite athletes about our products, and they help to improve athlete performance, recovery. And I also am passionate about our products because my husband is a Navy veteran and he suffers from PTSD symptoms, and it has had extreme benefits for him. And so very grateful and thankful for LifeVantage.
Hi everybody. I'm Emily Kostman. I am a speech therapist and a certified holistic wellness coach. And I work with a variety of clients. I work with a lot of kids in my speech therapy work with a variety of speech and language challenges. I've worked a lot with kids with autism, and I also, in my health coaching, support people with chronic illness, including autoimmunity, inflammation, and digestive imbalance. And so LifeVantage was just an awesome thing to come across last year in my own health, helping my own health, as well as helping my clients who are struggling with, again, digestive issues and chronic illness. And I love the concept of really getting to your cellular health and improving the health of your cells at a deeper level. So LifeVantage has a great team atmosphere, and working together to help one another be healthier. So thank you.
Hi, my name is Jill Warner. I'm a physiotherapist specializing in stroke and brain injury and all things brain related. And I love LifeVantage and their products because I love all things brain related. And I feel like this supports decreasing oxidative stress, helping the gut health, which we know is so connected to the brain. And this is what I've talked about for 20 years with my patients, changes they can make in their diet. So I love that I can support their journey and their health journey using these products.
Hi, I'm Dr. Chad Luxembourg from Palm Harbor, Florida, and I work as an ophthalmologist and also a network marketer. You can reach a lot more people by telling people about our awesome products than you can help individually as a doctor. So that's one of the things I absolutely love about LifeVantage.
Hello, I'm Lynn Judson from Colorado. I'm a pharmacist, a consultant pharmacist with a PharmD and a board certification in geriatrics and also in pharmacotherapy, board certified. I am from Lakewood, Colorado. I have been a consultant for veterans on a federal grant, helping them with deciding which medications and how to take the medications, what drug interactions they have, and help them with problems like adverse effects they're having with their medications. I love LifeVantage because it's a way to prevent problems instead of taking a drug which may cover up or be a band-aid for problems. So my focus is that we should devote more resources to preventive medicine, and I believe in consultant pharmacy because I think it helps patients to stay out of emergency rooms, and I think Protandim obviously does the exact same thing. So I love the emphasis on prevention.
I'm Angela Volkovsky, and I'm from California, and I'm a registered nurse. I work with all kinds of people. I've helped open hospitals and develop procedure areas. I've worked in the ICU. I work with hospice patients, home health, surgery, PACU, GI, interventional radiology, all of it. So, and I love LifeVantage because of the effects it's had on my life. So I had something debilitating going on and was really concerned about what was happening to me, where my future was, where my near future was actually. And another nurse introduced me to LifeVantage and NRF2. I did some research and I was like, holy cow, I'm taking this. And I took it, and within a month, my life had changed. So I've been on it for about 1.5 years. I'm a distributor and I'm a Pro 3 right now. So thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Dr. Nancy Bryan, and I'm from Scottsdale, Arizona. I work with all kinds of patients because I'm a pharmacist and a biochemist and a formulator. And what I do most is help people to start thinking about getting off medications instead of being on more and more medications. And I love LifeVantage because it allows us the ability to help the body to activate itself. When the body becomes activated again, you can take care of some of the things that will be helpful so that their body may not require certain medications anymore, or at least help them diminish. And that's why I love LifeVantage, because I've been able to help a lot of people to take a look at what they're actually doing with medications and be able to make healthier choices.
Okay, so as you can see, that's halfway through the LifeVantage Doctor's video, and there's just a wide variety of different healthcare providers. But what I did is I summarized this here. And as I said, working in the industry and working alongside doctors since 2005, it really wasn't until I started working with the professionals within LifeVantage did I really feel a sense of community, just like what you're seeing there. And I know the doctors and healthcare providers feel the same way, as do the wellness entrepreneurs that are here. So, we really feel like we're on a mission together and doing things that are making a difference. In summary, the LifeVantage doctors that are with the company feel they help people and animals outside their clinic. Science-based products. There's peer-reviewed studies to support the products. It's a global business opportunity, which they don't get otherwise within their clinic. They have had personal health results with themselves and with their families. The connections with like-minded professionals are really important. The ability to learn about and use advanced medical breakthrough technology, as in our products, in Nutrigenomics and biohacking. Help patients reduce drugs, pharmaceutical drugs, and provide safer natural options, and do no harm. So these are things that you can use as you're sharing this with healthcare providers. So now I would like to introduce you to our guest physician speaker tonight. It's Dr. Greg Carter. He also lives in Raleigh, North Carolina, and I was connected to him from one of my other physician business partners, Dr. Jackie Kilrain, out of Warner Robins, Georgia. So Dr. Greg Carter is just a wealth of information, and so excited to be working with him. He is just getting started here with LifeVantage, but was able to come down to Charleston, which was great. It was his first event, and looking forward to coming to Kansas City. So Dr. Carter runs the Ideal Health Centers for Human Longevity. A little bit about his background, his memberships and associations. He's a member of the American Chiropractic Association. He was a past district president of the North Carolina Chiropractic Association. He has a ton of postgraduate studies and certifications: meridian therapy, clinical acupuncture, certified instrument adjusting, applied kinesiology, nutrition response testing, Spine Research Institute of San Diego, the Brimhall technique. We know Dr. Brett Brimhall, so does Dr. Carter. Carpal tunnel syndrome, functional medicine practitioner, certified extremity practitioner, sports medicine, neurology, orthopedics. In fact, I just got a new puppy and brought him into Dr. Carter's office, and he gave little Oliver an adjustment. So Dr. Carter works with dogs and horses as well. So let me make sure that I can unmute his phone and get him on with us. Dr. Carter? There you are. Hi, Dr. Carter. You on?
Hi, everybody.
Hi, great. Yeah, everyone else is muted, Dr. Carter. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. And ever since I met Julia a few months ago, I've also been impressed by an amazing person and what she knows and from her background in pharmaceutical industry, and her knowledge of health and nutrition health is fantastic. So thank you, Julia, for having me on, and I appreciate your friendship as well.
Thank you. Tell us a little bit about your health story. You're going to tell us a little bit about that, and then I can move to the omega slides and the fatty acids. But tell us about you.
Yeah. So I've been in practice for 25 years, and my practice has always had kind of a nutritional component to it. I would always talk to my patients about their diet and their nutrition. Even though my practice was more of a chiropractic type of practice, I felt like it was my obligation to talk to them about health and nutrition and get the message across to them that they weren't hearing in other places. And so part of my story is that I'm fortunate throughout my life to be very healthy. I've never had any broken bones or any major injuries or health problems. And last, I went in to get a regular checkup from my friend, the internal medicine physician, and I had a tetanus shot in about 30 years. And so he said, well, hey, you haven't had a tetanus shot in a while. I think it would be a good idea for you to get a tetanus shot. And I said, okay. about 3 weeks later, I started to have some complications from the tetanus shot, and my face became paralyzed, and my legs started to become paralyzed. And so I kind of knew what was going on, but I didn't want to really admit it. And I had a room full of patients in my waiting room that I wanted to continue to see. So finally, it was my assistant who came up to me, and she said, you know, you can barely walk. She says, we're taking you. So I went reluctantly, but I went. And doctors are never good patients. So we found out that I had kind of a neurological complication to the tetanus shot called Guillain-Barré. And it's very similar to multiple sclerosis. And so while I was in the recovery, on my own as to how to regenerate my nerves and how to heal my nerves. And so I knew that there were some things out there that I could do that helped. And so glad to say that that I'm a lot better now. And I found the NRF2 and NRF1 Protandim products and the stack that I started taking along with Axio, and it's made a huge difference for me in my energy and how I feel. So much for that. And now I know why too. I know the science behind it and how that's been helping me. So that's a little bit about what I want to share with you. So, some of that and how it's benefited me.
It's amazing. Thank you for sharing that story. I mean, what a shock, you know, that happened. But luckily, you knew, how to get it treated, and then we met, and this was able to help you as well as one of the things to help. So
that's right.
So glad. So Dr. Carter, like I said, is a wealth of knowledge and really knows a lot about essential fatty acids. And so he's going to teach us a little bit about that. Dr. Carter, I'll advance the slides. You just let me know when, but I've got a couple slides here. So we're excited to learn about this.
You can advance along as I'm talking, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the difference between omega-6s and omega-3s and omega-7 and how that's important as well. So when I was a student in chiropractic school and I was learning about nutrition, essential fatty acids, and how there were healthy fats as well as unhealthy fats, and how we had to find ways of consuming or finding the healthy fats in our diet that weren't as available as the unhealthy fats. There's plenty of unhealthy fats that are in our foods, and then a lot of healthy fats. And so I learned a little bit about that and what healthy fats were. And there was a book that I read called Fats That Kill by Dr. Udo Erasmus. And some of you may be familiar with Udo's oil, which is a kind of an omega-3 and omega-9. It's available in place, health food stores and things like that. But he is a genius, and a lot about essential fatty acids from him. So one of the most important fatty acids is the omega-3 fatty acids, and something that you guys have probably all heard about. It's a long-chain polyamine acid that is parts, which is EPA and DHA. And EPA and DHA have an array of amazing health benefits. They're incorporated into many body parts, including the cell membrane, and plays an important anti-inflammatory role in our bodies. And so EPA and DHA are essential for proper fetal development, and then also on healthy aging. So throughout our whole lifespan, having the right ratio of DHA omega-6s in our diet is really important. So DHA is one component, and it's found in abundance in our brain and in our retina and our eyes. It's very important for eye health, and also really important for the development of the brain. And so DHA supplements have been added to a lot of found out how important DHA is. But EPA is also very important. They're the precursors to several metabolic lipid mediators. and considered by many investigators to be beneficial in the prevention and treatment of many diseases. So it's very challenging for EPA, DHA through our diet, and that's why supplementation is really important. And they found that foods have the right ratio of EPA, DHA in them, and that mainly is through algae and fish oil from marine animals. So, although it's possible for the body to oleic acid into EPA, DHA, there's a lot of enzymes that are involved in that process, and it's very difficult. So the current American diet has to be very high in short chain fatty acids, low in omega-3. And you probably have trans fats, trans fatty acids, which is something that is very, sorry, there's a dog under my feet here. The change in our eating habits over the years has been focused on, a lot of times it's fast food, which is in our diets, contain a lot of high amounts of saturated fat. And it also has a lot of small amounts of essential omega-3 polyunsaturated fatty acids when food is prepared at home. So seafood sources such as fish and fish oil supplements are really important for getting important about this is the health of our brains. And so they recently found in some research that with cardio, DHA is really important for that, along with the prevention of Alzheimer's disease. So the ingestion of proper fatty acids is very for our health and longevity. I want to talk now just a little bit about omega-7. So omega-7 was discovered really pretty recently in the past 10 years or so. And the researchers at the Cleveland Clinic found that taking omega-7 for just 30 days paid 4% reduction in C-reactive protein. And what C-reactive protein is, it's a marker for inflammation in the body. So omega-7 is breaking the cycle of inflammation in the body, and it also helps with elevated blood sugar. And so LifeVantage put omega-7 into their product along with the omega-3 in order to get that almost like a super omega-10 type of vitamin. So,
Dr. Carter, I'm going to interject just here real quick because this slide too here with the vitamin D3. I mean, my goodness, there's so much that's in this omega plus product. There's omega-3, the 7, and then the vitamin D3, and then we can finish it up there in that last slide. But vitamin D3, so many people are deficient in that, right?
Yeah, vitamin D3 has been found to be deficient in many different cases, but very beneficial for not only our bone health, and so that was particularly interesting to me when I was recovering from my neurological problem, was that my vitamin D levels were very, and supplementing with omega-3, omega-7, and vitamin D3, and my levels came up, and I could notice a huge difference in how I felt.
Wonderful. Awesome. It's made a difference for me as well. Yeah. And here's just the final summary slide here. Excellent information.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So just in summary, so there's the omega-7. One is that there's been a link with helping to reduce obesity in aspects of it too, in addition to the brain. But the fat tissue in our body, as we metabolize fat, the fat pours out a lot of pro-inflammatory signals at a very high rate, and so it also contributes to insulin resistance and then fat deposition in the body. And what the omega-7 does is the omega-7 has the ability to reverse that and keep those fat deposits from forming in our bodies. Very, very important for people that are on the edge or verge of developing type 2 diabetes. So it's really, really interesting how beneficial that is.
Awesome.
Yeah. So Cleveland Clinic did a really great study on this that you can review. But 3,000, roughly 4,000 adults that they studied Subjects with a higher omega-7 level, higher levels of HDL, which is the good cholesterol, and then the triglyceride levels went down by 19%.
Wow. Wow. That would be great. I'd like to take a look at that. Amazing. So this product has so many good things in it.
Yeah, exactly. Omega-7 along with the omega-3, I think, is a fantastic combination with the D3. So the other thing that I want to talk about real briefly is about NRF1, because we've talked a lot about NRF2, and NRF2 is a real primary focus in LifeVantage, but NRF1 is really important as well. What NRF1 does is it functions as a what they call a transcription factor. It works on kind of the genetic mitochondria inside of our cells. So there's inside of our cells are mitochondria, which are this one does is it influences the mitochondrial DNA and how the DNA actually transcribes information that's being replicated. And so together with the NRF2, it mediates what's called the biogenomic coordination of mitochondrial genomes by directly regulating the expression of several nuclear encoded proteins. So I know it sounds a lot like, intense cellular biology, but basically the NRF2 and NRF1 work together basically to prevent our transcription errors and essentially the ability to prevent those cells from mutating. So it's really interesting. It preserves the integrity of so that the genes don't mutate along the way. So another thing that the NRF1 does is it's a signaler for growth projections off of our nerves. So as our nerves are making new connections, the NRF2 helps with the new projections of nerves that come off that form new pathways in our nervous system. It's absolutely incredible. So yeah, together with the omega-3 and the omega-7 and the NRF1 and NRF2 and the probiotic and the Axio, it's a daily regimen that has been a lifesaver for me. So I love it.
Thank you, Dr. Carter. Thank you so much. And I don't know, time flies. We're a little over. Apologize for that, everybody. But my gosh, that information you shared, Dr. Carter, is unbelievable and so informative. I know we've all learned a ton. So thanks again, everybody, for being here on the Sunday night team webinar. Hope you learned a lot and look forward to seeing y'all soon. Thanks for being
everybody.
Here. Yep. Thanks, Dr. Carter.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.